Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. My next guest, I am so excited. She's been on DC's Swamp Thing, The Walking Dead, and she was most recently a Night Sister in the Disney Plus series Ahsoka. I am joined by Jeryl Prescott. Jeryl, how are you doing today?
Hi, Taylor. Quite well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
It's
much for being
beautiful.
here. Yeah, it's such
It's a
a nice
beautiful
day
day,
out.
right?
Yeah, I spent
Yes.
all morning at the dog park with my puppy, and she had so much fun.
Oh, fun, fun, fun.
Well, thank you for
What
joining
kind
me.
of puppy you got? What
Well,
kind of
we
puppy
actually
you got?
met like a week ago at Sideshow of Horrors, which was a really fun event. There were clowns everywhere. I did not expect that at all. That was
I didn't either.
hilarious. Yeah.
I didn't either.
I made it through the
The
whole event.
relationship between clowns and horror is something that, I mean, I guess it's clear, but something I just don't think about a lot.
Yeah, I made it through that whole event. And then right as I was walking out, one jumped out from behind a bush and scared me so bad. I was not prepared for it.
Okay.
So I loved Ahsoka. She is one of my
Okay.
favorite Star Wars characters. And I
Mhm.
was just wondering, how did you get this role in Ahsoka as a Night Sister?
Oh my gosh. Like most roles, it came out of nowhere. I did audition for it. And it was this whole virtual thing we're doing these days where actors put themselves on tape instead of going into the office. And actually, I was working on a film in Haiti when the opportunity came. And so I was able to get myself on tape and send it in. And yeah, it happened. And I was as shocked as everybody in my agent's office. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
we were very, very grateful and surprised by the whole thing. And you know, they're very secretive.
Very
And
secretive.
so I know there was so it was so secretive. Of course, I couldn't tell anybody anything, and yeah, so it was the biggest secret I think I've ever had to keep.
Oh my gosh. You told me a really cute story at Sideshow of Horrors about how your kids gave you a crash course in Star Wars when you got the role. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I have two boys. One is 20 and one is 17. He'll be 18 in a couple of weeks. And yeah, they both love Star Wars and love all things Marvel and DC. You know, they're typical boys, I guess. And I've taken them to everything and honestly fallen asleep on a lot of the stuff. But at least with the Star Wars stuff, I didn't fall asleep. But I was always just kind of, wow, not really clear on the connections between all of them.
Mhm.
So when I found out about the role, and the one person I did tell was my oldest son, he was like, "Oh, so that means you have to watch The Mandalorian, and then you have to watch." He gave me like a short list of
Oh,
things that I had to see. And before, I really could dive into the role and understand the Night Sisters and their history. He said, you have to watch the Clone Wars, and then
mhm.
you have to, yeah. So he was very, the list got longer. The more I watched, he was like, oh yeah, you gotta watch.
Oh my gosh. No, that's perfect. Do you remember the
Yeah.
first time you ever watched Star Wars? Did you see it in the theaters or how did you experience Star Wars for the first time?
Let's see. It had to be in the theaters, yes. Because I'm a woman of a certain age, Taylor.
No,
And
no, no.
back then there were no streaming platforms and all that. I mean, there was probably your basic HBO and Showtime or something, but that's it. So yeah, I was definitely in the theater the first time I encountered it. And I just remember being very impressed with Darth Vader. And that's all I can remember really about those first experiences. That his presence and the voice
Hmm.
and the reverence all the other characters gave him,
Hmm.
was definitely something that made an impression on me. And I remember wanting very much to see what was underneath all that mask and
Yeah.
everything. And yeah, just wondering what was happening under there. And yeah, that's really what I remember about my first experience.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Um, I was wondering, how long did it take for the makeup and hair department to get you to transform into a Night Sister?
Oh yeah, it was a long process. I think we probably did an hour of makeup every morning. And let's see. And then our hair was all covered, with our lovely tall cone hair dresses. The costumers are just amazing and brilliant, and their work is beautiful. And one wonderful thing about it is the Night Sisters and I, of course, we could being in the costume, we can see each other's costumes, but we didn't get a good look at our personal costumes until the show aired, really,
Oh wow,
and
yeah.
then we could really see the flowing of it all and,
Mhm,
how it moves as we move. And that was just really such a joy and such a treat, as well as all of the other special effects of the show when we worked with the balls and all that
mhm.
stuff. And, there's a lot that we had to use our imagination on set,
Mhm.
to bring to life. But just watching it was like watching it like a kid, because
Oh,
we didn't know how all of that was going to look,
yeah,
put together. So yeah, that was really probably the most fun part of being in the series. Very different from anything else I've done,
oh,
where
that's
I
so
just
cool.
really couldn't imagine how it was going to look.
Mhm.
And when I saw it, I was in awe, and then we all were. Yeah, yeah.
So you filmed using the volume, right? You filmed some scenes using the volume.
Using what?
The volume, the huge like screen technology.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely,
that's so
definitely,
cool.
definitely.
What was it
Yeah.
like
And
walking in and
so
seeing that for the first time?
yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's overwhelming. It really is. And not only that, the other special effects, even the ball itself, the way they do that, and the big computer room we have to go through to get to it all, where we know the work is happening. Those
Yeah,
people are there doing all of the fine tuning and making the world come to life and all that. So yeah, just really just fascinating the way it all works.
that is so cool. How did you
Yeah.
watch the episodes when they released? Did you have friends and family over? Did you have a little party?
Yeah, it was mostly family. And mostly family. My boys, a
Oh,
couple of friends came, and yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a
that is
lot of
so
fun.
cool.
And there's so much going on in the stories, before the Night Sisters appear, and
Mhm.
even after we appear. And a lot of it I didn't know, because another thing that was different about shooting this is we only receive the pages that we are on.
Oh wow, yeah.
So we didn't see
Mhm.
a lot of the other pieces to the
Wow.
story until it aired. So
Oh,
that was just
that's fun.
really enthralling as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Could really watch it as an audience in a very real way. So yeah, that was very cool. That
I
was very
know
cool.
we've said a couple times how secretive Star Wars is, but season two did just get announced. Is there anything at all you can say or nothing?
I can't say anything.
Well, I will say congratulations on Ahsoka being picked up for season two because that's very exciting to me. I was counting down the days until they made that announcement. So congratulations on
Oh,
that.
oh wow. I'm so excited that everybody's so excited to see this
Yes.
happen.
Uh,
Um, it is unique, and it is just fascinating to imagine this war. The Star Wars. I have to tell you, it's so stupid. I felt so dumb. One
no.
day I turned around to my boys and I was like, "Oh, Star Wars, like wars among the stars."
Oh
And
my
I had
gosh.
never really thought about it,
Yeah.
in that way. But I was like, oh,
That's so funny.
they were like, Mom, of course, So yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it continues. It's
Mhm.
it's yeah,
That's
in
so
the
great.
universes and beyond. Yeah.
Very exciting. Another
Yeah.
huge IP that you've been a part of is The Walking Dead. And as soon as I told
Yeah.
my sister I was interviewing you, she was like, "Oh, I know her from The Walking Dead." And I was like, "Yeah, I was obsessed with that show when it used
Yeah.
to air." Is there
Yeah.
a favorite memory from filming The Walking Dead that you have?
Let's see. There are several. There are several. We had a good time. We really did. I've been very, very fortunate. You hear about people who have a rough time on set and mean coworkers and all that good stuff. And I really have never experienced it. I've had really great casts, and my Walking Dead cast is certainly among those really great people.
Oh,
And let's see, I probably have a couple of favorites. One is when we were washing the clothes in the water, all the ladies together,
mhm.
right? Melissa and and uh Lori, and
Mhm.
all of us. We were all
Mhm.
there watching close together. And the scene itself was fun. And it was a little funny, a little crazy that there were leeches in the water. And
Oh
so
no.
so the camera guys, well, they didn't really get us so much. I don't think anybody gotten, but the camera guys were deeper into the water. And so they're the ones who noticed that on their legs there were little leeches on there. So we were like, what
That's
is
like my
that?
worst nightmare.
Yeah, right, right. It was crazy. But
I can't.
they didn't seem too freaked out by it. I'm sure they do a lot of things. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh my
yeah, so
gosh.
that was interesting and kind of fun and crazy. And I think the other one, it almost makes me want to cry right now, is one day I was talking to Andrew, and we were just talking. I don't even know how we got on the subject, but my father had passed not too
Oh.
long before the show started,
Mhm.
maybe about 6 or 7 months. And somehow I started talking about my dad, and we were talking, and he was just so kind
Oh,
and indulgent,
that's sweet.
and we were just chatting, and it was just, just a very human moment, and just really really sweet. And I just always remember that. And then years later, like my character dies at the end of season 1,
Mm.
but I come back at the end in season 3 to have conversations with Andrew,
Mm.
uh Rick's character, when he's having a mental breakdown,
Yeah.
right? And I'm talking to him. And the reason that happened also was because of Andrew, because by then there were different writers on the show. And the new writers really didn't remember Jackie, but he's the
Oh
one, when
wow.
they started coming up with people that he would talk to during his mental breakdown,
Mhm.
he's the one who went to them and said, "Hey, let's get Jeryl in on this.
Oh,
And then I can, talk to Jackie for a second." And and that was just so kind of him to think about me and want to include me. So
yeah.
yeah, those are probably my best memories from being involved with the show. And one more,
Mhm.
T-Dog,
Uh-huh.
who's Irony, he's a good buddy of mine, and
Oh.
he came to my wedding. I got married about 5 years ago, and he and his wife came to my wedding, and did a cute little skit uh, to sort of introduce people to our love, our relationship kind of thing. It was real
Mhm.
cute how we met. It was like
Oh.
a nice little reenactment of how two people meet and fall in love. So that too was the continuation of a special connection that we built on set.
Oh, that's incredible. My
Yeah, yeah.
boyfriend David, he hasn't seen The Walking Dead yet, and I've been
Oh
on
wow,
him
where's
that I
he
know.
been? Oh
What has he been
good.
doing? But I've been on him
That
that
was around
that's
this time.
that's something we're gonna watch together. But now when we get to the scene where
Okay.
you're washing the clothes, I will know, and he will know there
Yeah.
were leeches in that water. No, thank you.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh
But
yes.
those stories, oh, those are so sweet. I really appreciate you telling me those. The
Yeah.
Walking Dead is a horror-based show. The Night
Yeah.
Sisters are kind of spooky. I think it's my dream would be to get a Night Sister spin-off where it's a horror, just straight up horror movie or straight up
Yeah.
horror series. I think you would be perfect in that. That would be such a fun thing to see in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. And that our city, Dothamir would be a great place to hang out for a while.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right? Right?
Oh, so
Our
fun.
powers are supposed to be magnified there, right? We
Yeah.
we we have an opportunity to really show our stuff
Oh,
when
that'd be
we're at
incredible.
home.
Hmm.
So that would be real cool. That would be
Hmm.
real cool.
When I was going through your IMDb, I actually discovered you were on a couple episodes of Nancy Drew, and my friend
Yeah.
Erin Cummings was on that show for 4 episodes. She played the chief, Chief Lovett. Did you have any scenes with Erin, or have you ever met Erin?
I I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so.
okay. I just wanted to check because that would have been like
So,
a really
yeah.
crazy connection we had because I saw on your IMDb, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, Nancy Drew, I know someone on that show. That's perfect.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like she was season 4, I believe. So I think you guys
Okay.
might have been different times, but that would have been so
We might have
crazy.
been.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
that's
cool.
it was very fun working with them. That shoots in Canada, in Vancouver. And what a great group of young folks. Yeah, they were fun. They were very,
Oh,
very sweet to me too. Yeah, they gave me a long list of stuff to do on my day off. So I could experience Vancouver because I think that was my first time working in Vancouver when I worked that
Oh,
show.
wow. That's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then I have to ask while I have you about Swamp Thing. You were in 10
Hmm.
episodes of that as the
Yeah,
Doctor. How was
yeah,
being in Swamp Thing in a huge DC property? Was there
yeah.
anything in particular that stood out from that project?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of stuff. I was Madame Xanadu in Swamp Thing, and Madame Xanadu reads tarot cards and tells people's fortunes and all that cool stuff. So I always play these weird people, which I love. I think I just have a weird face, and they're like, yeah, she could be the weird lady. So it was it was amazing, of course. Uh what's her name? Why is her name escaping me right now? I love her. Oscar winner from the movie with Paul Giamatti about wine, the going a trip to the wine country and
Uh-oh.
their relationships. You know who I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
I know who you're talking about, but of course now I'm gonna have the brain
I
freeze
know
too.
her name is escaping me right this second, but she was a sweetheart. And so yeah, and I did have a couple of scenes with her, which was just such a joy. She's fabulous. But I had a great time doing that. And again, my boys had to fill me in on this
Mhm.
DC background and all that stuff. But what I did get a chance to take them to some kind of I don't know if it's part of the studio
Mm.
or just near the studio where they had an amazing library of
Ooh.
DC books.
Oh,
And the
that's
boys went
cool.
there and they were able to choose some stuff that they just loved and still have and enjoy. So that was really cool. Um, but yeah, we all feel like, that was snatched from us too soon. It
I
was,
know.
we would have loved to see, have another season of that, at least one more.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was fun. And Derek Mears, who plays Swamp Thing,
Mhm.
he is so talented to communicate so much without people being able to really see his face
Right.
and having so much makeup. Now his stuff I think took hours probably every day to do all of
Oh,
that, and he was so emotive. I mean, he was communicating so much. I'm very much in awe of his wonderful work. And he was a great guy to work with as well. Yeah.
oh, that's great.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
Jeryl, for people who want to keep up with you and your upcoming projects, what is a place where they can follow? Do you have an Instagram that you would like to shout out?
Yep, I'm at the real Jeryl, Jeryl, the real Jeryl. I'm named after my daddy Jerry, well, with
Oh,
an L. So I'm like my daddy's son. And so
oh,
it's
sweet.
Jeryl and the real Jeryl.
Perfect. I will make sure to put a link to your Instagram in the
Okay.
description of this video. And Jeryl, it has been such an honor talking to you. It was so nice meeting you in person like a week ago, and then
Thank
just
you.
to have you take the time to do this interview with me. I really, really appreciate this. This is so exciting
Mhm.
for me. And
Oh, well,
I'm
wonderful meeting you too, Taylor.
oh,
I'm
thank you.
like I'm always in awe of young people who have the ingenuity and the motivation, the passion to create these platforms for yourselves and for the stuff you love. And so congratulations.
Oh, thank
Keep
you.
keep doing your thing. I think that's great. I think that's
Thank you.
great.
Well, I
Mhm.
really, really appreciate this, and I'm going to get on David after this to watch The Walking Dead, and I will
Okay,
tell him all
y'all
the
have
behind the
fun.
scenes stuff that I learned. Thank you so much. And I have to say, before you go, may the force be with you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And I hope to have
May the
you on
fortune
here
be with
again soon to talk about maybe after season 2. Who knows?
I know. We'll see. I'm
Thank you.
excited.
Bye.
Bye.